Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with Matt Walsh with Miss Rachel.
Who? A cockatoo.
I don't care about the coming up. I just want whatever the fuck your arguments are.
The YouTuber who makes videos for preschoolers. And I think we've talked about her a little bit in the past. And now she's out with Mom Donnie doing a propaganda tour with him. So she's in the past, and she's done this before. She's done the LGBT thing. She's done the gay pride thing. She's done the pronoun thing. And I think that's when we've talked about her in the past.
The gay pride thing, the pronoun thing, as if just like people who live as being gay, that's just a checklist for Matt Walsh. Now we're going to have to see what the pronoun thing is.
And that's reason enough to not put her content on for your children. You know,
don't show her content to your children. You might find out that gay people exist. Ooh, spooky.
You should not allow your children to watch it for that reason alone. And here she is with Mom Donnie. You'll see the tweet there. Mom Donnie says, "This morning, Miss Rachel and I visited District 2 Pre-K Center, where we sang and read with the wonderful students and educators. We also discussed universal childcare."
So the person who makes it a career to talk to kids and to make content for kids, and the guy who is currently mayor over the city that those kids' parents live in, went to go visit kids. I guess water also might be wet, and the day might also end at Y. And, you know, any number of other lovely things that I could articulate to tell you that this is what you would fucking expect.
And how we're making it happen for NYC. Yeah, I'm sure the 4-year-olds are very interested in that conversation. You sat down with 4-year-olds to talk about universal child care?
You seem to have a very strong opinion about what they talked about with those kids. Are you going to show a clip of it, Matt? Are you going to actually, like, give us a clip with an opinion that we can work with? Or are you just going to say, aha, 2 adults went to talk with kids. I'm sure those kids wanted that.
Which, by the way, is really bad for 4-year-olds. It's really bad for kids because that is the state's way, the government's way. In this case, the city's way.
Yes, it's very bad for kids to receive things like food and education.
Of getting more kids into childcare and away from their parents.
Yeah, childcare, like school, so that the parents can actually have lives and work while also being able to raise their kids. Yeah, not everybody wants to be the barefoot fucking homeschool mother, dumbass.
So that's really what he's saying. Good news, kids. We're going to make sure you spend even less time around your parents.
That's not really what's being said. That's just saying that, hey, you're gonna have school. Hooray. Maybe a little bit more school would have helped Matt Walsh become less of an idiot.
You're going to spend even more time with government workers.
Government workers? You mean like teachers? You mean like teachers? Because definitionally, those are government workers.
The workers are the best. Ask your parents to bring you to the DMV sometime. And you'll see a whole bunch of government workers. They're the nicest people. Don't you want to spend every day, all day with them?
Or you could be doing that for like a career fair. Hey, what do you want to do? Like, I remember that shit happening when I was a kid. Having just like hey, dress like you want to dress like what you want to be when you grow up. Hey, let's have a career fair early. And you have like the earliest one so kids know that like there are options for them when they get older. And then you have career fairs again that are like later so that the kids like 15, 16, 17 years old, because you want them to be talking to like people who actually might be hiring them the next bit. Like, okay. Dorito says the DMV comment is about how bad and slow the DMV is, implying teachers are like DMV workers. Even if they teach slow, who fucking cares?
Well, with universal childcare, you can. So I guess that was the message.
The message was teach kids. News at 5.
But we don't even need to get into that. Enough people have covered that base about Miss Rachel, and so this is the debate. Like, is she a political propagandist? Because she's very popular with kids. And she's got like billions of views.
So she's very popular with kids, but also paradoxically would not know the things to say to kids to entertain them, which was your point at the beginning of the video. That was your little snide jab you did. So she's popular enough with kids to know what they like and what they want, but she is so thoroughly, like, not man, what's the best word for this? Her thumb is so far off the pulse of what kids want that she wouldn't know how to say anything to them that they would want to hear when you go and talk to them with Mom Donnie. Are you a fucking idiot?
I mean, so, and should you be exposing your kid to this given that she's a political propagandist? And
yeah, but a political propagandist for what? Because the only things you've named so far are she's okay with gay people and basic ass language. Because when you say, oh, she did the pronoun thing, yeah, so did I. Literally, at that point, right there. Basic language. That's what you're upset about. Basic language things and her telling people that it's okay to be gay. That makes her horrible in your eyes. I don't think I care at that point.
The answer is no, you should not be exposing your kids to this political propagandist. But put that to the side. I want to make a more basic point about this Miss Rachel person and anyone like her. And I've said that I find...
Yeah, by his own standard, Matt Walsh should not be allowed near children either because he is definitionally a political propagandist, so he shouldn't be around them.
Almost all of these children's YouTubers to be very creepy. Like these are...
You mean like PragerU kids? You mean like PragerU? Because like, if your problem is with people who do children's programming, I guess your problem's with Dennis Prager.
Creepy, weird people. And as a parent, you have to have a radar for that kind of thing. It's very important to have a radar for that. And if your radar is not going off when you turn on and you see these children's YouTubers, if you're not immediately like, who is this person?
How is it any different than them being like a regular fucking person on a TV show? What is the delineation between a TV show and a YouTube show, other than production values and whether a studio is backing them? Like, what's the delineation? They are both digital media. Why would your alarm bells immediately go off at that point in any way that is different than would be going off for like, oh no, you're watching the Teletubbies, or you're watching Bob Ross, or you're watching anything from fucking PBS Kids before it got defunded. Oh no, you've watched Sesame Street. Shouldn't you have your alarm bells go off when you see Sesame Street? And yet I've actually seen conservatives get pissed off about Sesame Street, so I know that I'm not, like, very far off base there. There's no real difference between those things other than studio backing, other than money, other than capital. Oh, I see. When it's capital that wants to talk to your kids, it's good. It's money. It's success. When it's random fucking people from the proletariat randomly out there in the fucking world, that one must be a pedophile. That one's got to be a predator.
Then I don't know. I mean, you're oblivious. So even
oblivious to what? Oblivious to what? You said Miss Rachel's creepy. Could you elaborate on how? Can you elaborate on exactly what type of predatory behavior you believe that she is engaging in? Can you give us an example of that? Because if you can't, then shut the fuck up. This is a thing that I have found with like everybody that likes to go around and pedo jacket people. If you really want to pedo jacket somebody, if that's really what you want to do, you're mostly doing it to try to ruin the way that public perception sees them. You don't actually care if they've engaged in any crimes or not. Sure, you'd be happier if they had engaged in crimes so that you've got a post hoc justification for your ire towards them. But let's be honest, most of the people who engage in pedo jacketing like this, they just want to see somebody's career tank. That's all they want. It's purely parasitic behavior.
Before you get into the content or the political propaganda, even before any of that, like I see it, and I don't like the vibes. Okay.
That is fantastic. 100% indisputable political reasoning from Matt Walsh. Doesn't like the vibes.
And sometimes, yeah, that as a parent especially, sometimes that matters. Vibe-based arguments are often not valid, especially in political discussions.
Vibe-based arguments are never valid. I'm sorry. If you're trying to, like, ascertain truth, vibes is literally just your gut reaction. Your gut reaction is never valid. At least not without further context. You may have reasons for your gut to have told you to do something, but those reasons are going to be separate from your gut feeling. Just like when your primary response to hearing rustling in the bushes is that there's a carnivorous predator in the bush, so you get worried. even if there is one, the vibe is there just so that you do a reaction faster. It's not there to give you an actual bridge to truth.
But as a parent, very often, you know, the vibe should matter to you. You look at something, you see someone, and you're like, I don't like the vibes here. This is weird. This person's not going to be around my kids.
So here's the thing.
That's it. It's just weird.
Whether... Okay,
And,
I love
I'm
that
definitely not gonna sit-
I love that I pressed space twice and it wouldn't work. Apparently, Matt Walsh has more power over my computer than I do. I'm not a parent, but I'm actually kind of willing to agree with Matt Walsh here. I do not think that the vibes thing is an actual way to, like, ascertain truth in any conceivable way. Also, how's it going, Noah? But I don't think that's the case. But I do think that when you're a parent, you should be more vigilant than a skeptic normally would be. You should be more vigilant, be willing to make a few more snap decisions because you are dealing with a child's life. I am willing to grant him that. 100%.
My kids down to watch this YouTuber because I just don't like the vibes. You know, and these are people who have figured out that children's content, making content for 3-year-olds, right? So these are adults that are making content for like 3 and 4-year-olds.
Just like everybody else who's ever worked on the Teletubbies or Barney or PBS or, again, the difference is capital.
And they figured out that it's extremely profitable to do it. So they just start churning it out. Okay.
Yeah, that happens. I'm not going to deny it. The existence of YouTube as a platform incentivizes people to try to make money off of it. Absolutely.
These are slop merchants for toddlers. We've got slop.
I think you've confused what Miss Rachel does based on the amount of respect that I've seen aimed at her. Again, I don't watch her content. It's not my speed. But I think you're confusing what she does with the weird AI-generated kids shit. Or like the Elsa and Spider-Man shit from years past. I think you are using the word slop to describe thing you don't like, if you're talking about Miss Rachel specifically.
Merchants who are just churning out slop all over the place for all different age brackets. And these are people who churn out the slop for 4-year-olds. And it boggles my mind that there are parents who are like, yeah, this is what my 4-year-old needs, is some slop.
I agree when it is slop. But again, I don't think that's what Miss Rachel is, based on my limited experience.
Bring on the slop. Here you go. Sit down, Junior. It's slop time. Go ahead. Just spend 3 hours watching this like mind-numbing, weird dreck. And that's what parents do. And I don't get it. And the other...
Again, I agree with him when we're talking about actual slop, but I don't know if that's what's going on with Miss Rachel.
The thing I can't stand are these, especially, and this is what, this is where...
Are we on a tangent now? Are we, like, not talking about the Miss Rachel thing anymore?
This is where the weirdness kicks in. Because you have these, like, children's content creators, or whatever we call them, who act and dress like children themselves.
Yeah?
This has become the thing now, and it's not that new. Over the last, like, couple of decades, really. Where you, in many cases, you have people that make entertainment, make content for kids, and they speak and act like kids themselves, even though they're adults in their 40s and 50s.
Are you talking about when they're on camera? Because for a lot of these people, they are a character, and that character is one that they try to maintain when they go on camera. I know for me, it's really, really weird when my brain goes into content creator mode and suddenly I start speaking with a more confidence and more cadence. Because like when I'm normally talking, this is how my voice sounds. Typically in conversation, if I'm not in presentation mode, this is how my voice is. This is how I operate through 80% of my life. But once I get the recording on, once I have the camera on, once that happens, it's like a switch in my brain that turns on, and I don't really have much fucking control of it. I have to deliberately, tone down my personality when I am on a camera. Because I've been doing this for so many years, my brain automatically goes into that somewhat like overcompensating mode. It just does that. I had to be told by people like Axolotls with Cream, by Biminem, by other friends of mine that was a thing that I was doing because I didn't fucking notice it. And then when I started to notice it, I gained a little bit more of the ability to actually turn that off. For some people, they don't just get stuck in character. For some people, they represent a character in such a way that they need to actually do that when they're on camera in general because it's part of their image and perception. That shit happens. So it doesn't surprise me at all, especially when it's kids media. And you know that old episode of Family Guy where like Stewie went to whatever the fucking show he watches is, I can't remember the name of it, something Farms, the one that's filmed in Britain, and he finds out that like the girl who is the host of the show that he loves so much is actually just like a dead inside chain smoking actress. Jolly Farms. There it is. Jolly Farms. Remember when he figured that shit out and it just like threw him into a depression? For kids media, for some people, they just want to maintain being that character when they are on camera because of shit like that. Like there's a reason that was a joke in Family Guy. That said, it seems like we've got Dude Bro back. Off topic, but fuck you for implying Marty O'Donnell is a Nazi with this video title. The Halo composer who's openly espoused fascist shit. That, okay. I mean, you can say fuck you, but that doesn't mean anything. Dude's music helped through rough parts in my life. You Fidel Castro socialist wannabe bitch. Oh, I see what's happening now. You're mad and inept. I understand now. I get it. Goodbye, Crowder. I understand what's happening now. Aw, that's so adorable. Look at you. Ah, we finally figured out who you are. Not the well-reasoned, not the well-reasoned, well-spoken, philosopher. No, you're just a dude who's mad on the internet. Get in line. Get in line with the other 18 million of us. The dude's music could have helped you through rough parts of your life. It helped me through rough parts of my life. I love the Halo series. I adore the series. I adore its music. Instead of trying to call me a Fidel Castro socialist wannabe bitch, we could instead be bonding over a shared love of the Halo franchise. That's a thing we could have done. Isn't it wild that in your want to be so, like, amazingly technically correct on the internet or just angry on the internet, in your attempt to be that, you actively decided to completely throw away any chance you would have had for having bonding over something that we actually share. Saki and I did a binge of the entire Halo series front to back, all the way up from 1 all the way up to Infinite, and we are in the middle right now of not only the book series, but also playing through Halo Wars. How about no? Okay, that's fine. I don't want to be a friend with somebody who's like that. What I'm saying is, it's wild in a world where we have such a profound loneliness epidemic for people that they seem to find more enjoyment out of picking fights online than they do in mutually bonding over the things that bring them joy. The same things that bring you joy bring me joy. And yet here we are on opposite sides. For what reason? For what purpose? Two for the Pink says the crazy plot twist of Harry Potter was that it was written by a Death Eater. Dorito Dave says, cause you insulted Daddy? Good. Also, for those who don't know, Two for the Pink's actually been a friend of mine through gaming shit for like a decade. We haven't played games in a while, but what's up? Astaroth says, yeah, your outburst just now proved that you've given up and decided to be a toxic bitch, deciding to go to a different topic and be pissed about that topic instead. Yeah, you failed to do your, like, weird parasocial fight. You support trans kids, I don't. I'd call that a big difference between us. Yeah, I tend to support where the science leads, and you don't. That is a big difference between us. I support things that I can back up with actual studies, and you don't do that. That is a big difference. You're right. I care about truth and medical expertise, and you don't. Insane. What a crazy coinkydink. And I don't have to care about things you say anymore. Now that I know that you care not about truth, not about reason, not about things that are right, you care about emotional outbursts. You care about feels over facts. I don't care about feels over facts. I don't give a flying fuck about vibes. So, congratulations. You outed yourself as a moron. What an adorable little moron you are, though. What an adorable little moron you are. So cute. So itty-bitty. Two of the Pink says, I love the movie Fearless Vampire Killers, but I hate Roman Polanski. I have not seen the movie, nor do I know who that is. Tal says, don't you diss my veggies. Veggies are great. Anyway, back to Wet Mulch.
You see Miss Rachel, and, she's got the overalls and the sneakers and the headband. It's like, what adult? You're in your 40s. Why are you
because they want to. Dude, I'm just curious, Matt Walsh, do you feel like the more adult thing is judging everybody around you for what their choices are? Or is the more adult thing recognizing that with time and money and the ability to be your own independent person, you can just dress however the fuck you want?
dress like that? And she speaks and acts like a kindergartner. And that's what almost all of these children's YouTuber types do. And it's so common, I think it's one of the reasons maybe a parent's radar doesn't go off. Maybe you don't see the red flag because you see that and you're like, yeah, this is what kids' content is. This is what they do. No, it's not normal. It's weird. Like, would you talk to your kid that way all the time?
I'm just curious. Would you talk to your kid all the time like this? I don't know if I would. I don't know if I could bring myself to do that. But for some reason, the stupid fucking voice actor for Barney the Dinosaur does it all the time, as long as he's in character. How is this even a good point? How is this even something mildly approaching a salient point? Sylvie Snow says, I'm going to go back to not saying stuff now because for some reason the voice about this sounds really appealing for some reason. Maybe it's because you like people in positions of power talking down to you. I don't know. PJ Blazer says, how many 30-something actors dress like teens for movies and shows? Yeah, it's just one of those things that I feel like judging everybody around you just doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. It just does nothing but make you a judgmental bitch. Serena Dave says, outed. Sylvie Snow outed as a bottom? Wild.
Do you dress like that? Like, if you want to relate to your kid, do you dress like a toddler to do it?
If you're on a TV show, maybe. Depends on the parameters of the TV show. And again, the only difference between a TV show and a YouTube show is, capital.
And here's the thing. It's not actually good for kids. It talks down to them.
Zuzubra,
it's patronizing.
thank you for the follow.
And it doesn't help them learn and grow. You can...
I wonder if there's actually a study on that. Give me a second. All right, so those of you who actually watch Miss Rachel, would you argue that the show is akin to Blue's Clues? Not in structure specifically, but in the ways that it talks to kids. Because the way that I hear Miss Rachel speak doesn't sound any different to me than the way that I used to hear Steve speak. When he would talk to the kids like this. The thing that's like very much talking down on them. Okay, I've got a few people who watch both telling me that that is the case. Cool. So let's actually use that to form the basis of an argument. Let's actually read an abstract on a set of studies about Blue's Clues and how well this actually helped kids with their cognitive functions. Blue's Clues was a preschool television series designed to promote mastery of thinking and problem-solving skills. This paper summarizes a series of studies concerning the impact of the program on television viewing behaviors and on cognitive development. 3 studies of viewing behavior indicate that as preschool children were in the process of learning from the program, they were relatively quiet and highly attentive. As they mastered the content, they became increasingly vocal and interactive. Their tendency to interact with Blue's Clues transferred to another program from a different series. A longitudinal study comparing children who regularly watched Blue's Clues to demographically similar children who could not receive the program indicated that the program had a positive impact on cognitive development. So if a show that talks down to kids, because that's what Steve did in Blue's Clues, if that show with that similar cadence showed that there was a positive impact with those kids and their cognitive functions later in life, you know what that reads to me more than anything? It reads that that particular cadence, that quote talking down to the kids as it were, didn't actually produce the results that Matt Walsh is thinking, and maybe it's more of the substance of the show and what it promotes and what it tries to accomplish that matters more than just the fucking cadence. Wild. And I googled that live. The only thing that's been cut out is the time I spent Googling to find a study on Blue's Clues, and I grabbed the first study that I was able to find. And wow, the first abstract I was able to read through pointed out that I was fucking correct. That is so strange. We do the opposite of the Asmongold approach. We don't just say we're right and then never look up a study. We say we're right, look up a study, and hedge our bets. And if we're wrong, then we just admit that we're wrong. It's that fucking easy. Easy as shit. Astaroth Umanaya says, don't forget to mention I've watched a ton of classic and famous shows as kids that already talked out to children themselves. Even if that's what she did, how is that new or special in any kind of way? Exactly. I don't know, the easiest thing in the world seems to be to just go, hey, does this thing that I have a problem with actually mean something is bad? Let me go look and see what the science says about that. Oh, the science says that it's okay? Cool. I'm not the expert here. They are the experts here. Let me go ahead and read through their methodology if I care that fucking much. That is that fucking easy. It's that simple. And yet you still get people like Social Migraine coming in screeching about stuff that they've never read a fucking book on. Anyway, that's Matt Walsh and him getting mad at Rachel for doing things and me looking up a study to show that he's wrong. Cool. That was a video, and you watched it. Maybe subscribe? Maybe Patreon? Maybe K-Fox saves me from this by editing in me transitioning into... Nope. Somebody's gonna make fucking egg fan art because I said that. No. Me transitioning into the outro. There. That's the whole clip with the context. Not whatever the hell you weirdos are gonna try to make in fan art. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Blitzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagittarius, you know I'm not saying that last part, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.